So remember this guy?
The original Stretch Armstrong with ultimate stretching power. Stretch him again and again and again.
You might have heard of him, Stretch Armstrong. Yeah, well, they made a show out of it. And as is American tradition, if there's a toy, there's a show, but really in name only. Which I can see the reasoning for. Your new show has to be appealing to kids and fans of the superhero genre, and you can't have your main character running around in just his underwear throughout the show. You also really don't have any other characters or world, so everything is pretty much being made from scratch. I know nothing about the show, only that it got an interactive and 2 seasons. Although I hesitate to call 23 episodes 2 seasons. They aren't hour-long episodes. No, this is most likely more Netflix shenanigans. Order 25-ish episodes, split into 2 seasons, and call it a day. Enough bitching about Netflix though. Let's just dive in. So something new here, this is actually an in-between special to bridge the gap between the 2 seasons, because we start right off the bat with a look at prison, some prisoners, and the escape. By the way, who the hell are you? Cut to school where the guys are down in the dumps because they are branded as traitors or something. Like I said, I'm literally jumping halfway into the show, so some things are lost. Anyway, hijinks ensue where there is something going on outside and an epic tutorial choice. Go outside or grab your gear. I mean, realistically in this world, probably a monster, so grab your gear. Otherwise, all you could do is gawk. But the fun option is to go outside and see them fail at life. So you do have to go back inside for your gear anyway, because otherwise you're useless. Your second choice is literally to get the gear, which you end up doing anyway. The only difference is, one, you go up against multi-farious, and the other, Dr. C is trying to help you. I got to say, her words were confusing. Like, all this was a simulation, but no, it's real. So odd phrasing, Doctor. If you chose the goggles and followed Dr. C, you would end up at her underground lair where she'll basically tell you to go home, or you could keep fighting. If you chose to go outside, then get your goggles, you would fight multi-farious, and if you froze him in concrete, you would still end up at Dr. C's place. These lead to the choice of helping blind strike or help somewhere else. The halfway point seems to be when you catch the Freak Sisters. A lot of paths lead to this choice. And speaking of halfway points, voice talent on here is pretty good, all things considered. I can recognize 2 actors in this. Armstrong is just doing the Robin voice, and Greg Griffin is doing her Azula and I think her Tootie voice.
Oh, I don't remember actually making a deal.
He's totally right. Ah! We blew it! This is your fault.
So the sisters let you know about a chip to help control and track the escapees. This leads us to the grand final battle. Again, the choices do kind of matter because it determines who you are fighting. If you never talk to multi-farious, you are fighting him, or maybe you talk to him, well now you have to deal with the tech guy. Like the Disney reused animation, you could really spot it here with the electric woman jumping around. You could also fight off villains like Smokestack at the disco, Circuit Stream at the arcade, Quick Charge at the power station. You also have this guy Kane trying to capture you, but he ultimately doesn't matter. You can lock him in a cage and laugh at him though. But the real adventure you want is the one with multi-farious, where he wants revenge against the Rook, the guy who turned him into this thing. You do get to fight alongside him against Quick Charge, that leads to Rook. Multi-farious has him pinned, and he can choose revenge or exposing Rook. This choice will either kill multi-farious or turn him human again, so big choice. The endings vary from just ending it with Blind Strike doing all the work, you taking down some villains at the end, and the best probably being saving multi-farious. I do like that the endings can vary wildly, but I think this is probably the weakest of the interactives. Mostly because I don't see any bad endings. The story can just wrap up while you are knocked out. I see some reused assets in animation, and unnecessary stingers like the one for Rook revealing he was actually the monster all along. Like, we saw him transform. This does not require a big reveal. And the biggest sin of all, some buttons were switched. Like right here, I want to go through the skylight, but we go through the front door. That actually pops up in a few places. And if I choose the front door, then we go through the skylight. That part is a hard mark on this. I had no feelings about this going in, but after this interactive, I'm not very inclined to go see this show. Who knows, this is 6 years old, so maybe it's like how the first season of a show is clumsy, and this being one of the first interactives, maybe they were just getting their footing. But considering I know Black Mirror came out in 2018, it's not looking good for Stretch Armstrong. I would rank this as a restaurant we chose while in Texas. Tired of the chain restaurants, you want to try something new, but end up with barely toasted cheese sandwiches and only one type of suit even though you advertise 2 of them. Sorry, ranting again. Anyway, I would say skip this, but they consider this as a bridge between seasons, and with multiple choices, what is even the real ending? Yeah, Stretch Armstrong. If you had to choose which interactive to save, this is not one of them. So yeah, Stretch Armstrong wasn't the best, and is only fitting we send it out like people have done with the dolls. So choosing the next interactive, how would you kill Armstrong? Fill him with water till he blows, or stretch him till he breaks? Everyone has their limit. I personally would make him fat before killing him, just some added humiliation, but that's just me. Oh yeah, you're still here. So which one? Water balloon death, or stretch it to the limit death? Come on, how does he die? By water or stretching? Water stretch, water stretch.